Do you remember that time Arizona State played Mississippi State in Starkville, gave up a touchdown with less than a minute to go on third and long, second and long, whatever it was, and they lost? And then they got dropped out of the rankings because the AP voting system's absurd. Mississippi State should be ranked, by the way. They're 4-0 with a win over the preseason number 11 team in the country. 11-12. Let's just understand that Arizona State, the reigning Big 12 champs, is still a good football team. They showed you that on Saturday. I picked them to beat Baylor. They did. They were a slight underdog. They went on the road to Waco, walk-off field goal. Did you see the swag of Arizona State's kicker? Holy smokes, man. Oh, boy. I tell you what, that was some cold-blooded stuff from the Sun Devil special teams unit in there. Arizona State was easy to forget about because they got dropped out of the top 25, ridiculously, might I add. Mississippi State should be ranked. Yeah, that's plain and obvious to all of us. But beating Baylor, do you realize what that does for Arizona State going forward? They are 1-0 in Big 12 play. Some people thought Baylor was a dark horse Big 12 title contender this year. I thought they'd be good. Didn't think they'd be great. That's kind of what they look like. Might be good, but they're definitely not great. Arizona State is about to go through a gauntlet, and it starts with TCU this week, who I'll talk about in a moment. Arizona State, though, is not a team that anybody should forget about in what is once again going to be a wide open, crazy, hard to predict, fun to watch Big 12 title race. Texas Tech is the number one team in the league. They were my preseason number one team. They have not wavered off of that spot, seeing as how they just went into Salt Lake City and bullied Utah, who I do think is good, needs to figure out the offense a little more, but that was a wildly impressive performance by Texas Tech. I picked Utah to win the game at home. Texas Tech did not care. Arizona State has now got an opportunity. If they can get through their next 3 games. I talked about the stretch with Arizona State coming into the year and how brutal their conference play, their beginning to conference play is. If they can go 2-2 in that stretch, of which they're off to a 1-0 start, please don't be surprised when they're back in the Big 12 championship game. Now, they have some tough teams on the back half as well, but they play TCU this week on Friday. Then they have a bye. Then they go at Utah, and then they play Texas Tech. If they win 2, they close Houston at Iowa State, West Virginia at Colorado, Arizona. Now, Arizona looks a heck of a lot tougher. That game's in Tempe than it did before the season, of course. But again, 2 losses in league play puts you right in that conversation. Winning this game at Baylor, massive. You just find a way. And Kenny Dillingham didn't feel like they played their best football game. I could listen to his press conferences all day. If you haven't and you want to just love college football and a particular coach and how he coaches his program, go watch Kenny Dillingham talk about his team after a win or after a loss. It doesn't really matter. It could be after practice for all I care. He's awesome and easy to root for. And Arizona State, they lost that game to Mississippi State. Do you realize if they had defended for one single play, we'd be talking about whether ASU could be an at-large college football playoff team right now, because they would have a road win against an SEC team, and they'd be unbeaten to this point. They'd still be ranked inside the top 12. Just consider that. I want to turn over and talk about TCU. So I like TCU coming into this year, and they beat SMU on Saturday. I thought they would. They did, 35-24. And that's a good win. They're 2-0 against the ACC this year. By the way, the Big 12, better conference than the ACC. Is there a top team like Miami? No. After that, give me the Big 12 over the ACC. The non-conference results have shown us more than enough at this point. TCU is a team that is playing significantly better defense, which is all they need. They have, who I think is the best quarterback in the Big 12 in Josh Hoover. Now, you can make the case for Sawyer Robertson. You can make the case for Baron Morton when he's fully healthy. He was struggling mightily, though, and hopefully he's able to come back for my Red Raiders going forward in their Big 12 title pursuit. But Josh Hoover and TCU are a darn good-looking football team. who on the defensive side with Andy Avalos in his second year as defensive coordinator, former Boise State head coach, have a massive opportunity this week. They, unlike Arizona State, haven't played a Big 12 game yet. So the chase in the Big 12, when you think about who's Iowa State comes to mind, because they're undefeated. They haven't always looked the sharpest, but Iowa State hasn't lost a game, got the win over Iowa. That continues to look like a better win, by the way, as Iowa's offense improves over the course of the season with Mark Gronowski at the helm. So one of the few good non-conference wins for the Big 12 in that spot. You certainly think about Texas Tech. I still think about Utah. I'm not out on them yet, even though some people might be. You have to look at BYU that's cracked the top 25. It's nice to see the Big 12 getting some respect from the AP voters. TCU and BYU at 3-0, just sneak in there. They're still behind 1-2 Notre Dame because, why the heck not? But I think TCU has the opportunity. That game on a Friday night, that's one of the bigger Friday night football games I think we're going to see all season that will absolutely be shaping the Big 12 championship race as we go forward. I don't know how I'm going to make a pick in that game because I like both of those teams so much. I love the vibes that get injected into Kenny Dillingham's team. Good vibes. Good vibes from TCU as well. Not the highest, but good. Definitely, when you go on the road and win like that, boy, that can invigorate you. Turn around on a short week, and you've got to play a TCU team you better not mess around with. You better not mess around. Because if they can just be okay on the defensive side of the ball, just okay, Josh Hoover didn't score a lot of points. Tempe should be rocking on Friday. I'm stoked, absolutely stoked for that game. But when you think about the Big 12 title race, and you think about Texas Tech first, good, you should. When you think about Iowa State, good, you should. I can make the case TCU's number 3 team in the Big 12 right now. I can make that argument. Just saying. It's right out there to be had. Appreciate everyone listening. I will see you next time, and until then, hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day.